Just about 2 years ago, I stood in front of my graduating class of 2015 from the Nicholas School and delivered our commencement speech. I attempted to recreate the scene for you here. I like to think I just said something really funny in that moment. Delivering that speech was one of the highlights of my career thus far, because for me it represented a culmination of this overwhelming sense of community that I had found during my time at the Nicholas School. Not only, though, did I find community during my time there, it's also something that I studied. In fact, I became obsessed with communities. I wanted to understand everything about them. I wanted to know what they looked like, how we defined them, when they were able to manage their resources sustainably, and when they failed, and when they were able to stick together and when they crumbled and fell apart. The beautiful thing about studying communities is that they're everywhere, and each of us is a part of one, if not numerous, communities. In fact, I want to take a minute with you to think about the various communities that we're a part of, starting with the Nicholas School family right here in this room, and then expanding out to your physical communities that you live in your neighborhoods. Thinking about communities you're a part of that surround around activities that you enjoy or hobbies that you really enjoy, and even communities that you find in your workplace. Now I want you to take a minute to think about the relationships you have within each of those communities. As you reflect on them, are they always easy and simple and straightforward, or at times can they be difficult or frustrating or uncomfortable? Well, if you're anything like me, they're a mix of both harmony and discord. And it's this very messiness of communities, this multidimensionality that goes beyond the kumbaya conception of community that so draws me to them and makes me want to understand them better. Growing up in San Diego, the communities that I was most drawn to were those that centered on the ocean, whether it be through surfing or diving or fishing or sailing. I wanted to be a part of it. So when I first encountered small-scale fishermen while I was working as a travel photojournalist along the coast of northern Costa Rica, I immediately felt a kinship with these small-scale fishing communities I encountered. Now, small scale is a bit misleading here because although each individual fisherman only takes a small amount of fish out of the sea as compared to industrial operations, together they represent over 3 billion people across the globe who depend on fish as a significant source of protein, and 1 billion of whom depend on fisheries as their primary livelihood. So while these fishermen depend on the ocean to survive, they also face the fact that over 85% of the world's fisheries are depleted. So how can they overcome these challenges and these obstacles? How can small-scale fishers manage their resources so that they can continue to enjoy them well into the future? So to tackle these questions, I set out to use the tools of my past trade as a photojournalist in my new trade as a researcher. During my time at the Nicholas School, I learned about these cutting-edge techniques known as participatory methods that researchers were using to engage communities in the research process. Social scientists developed these participatory methods to change the old tired paradigm of a researcher coming into a community and conducting research on people to instead conducting research in partnership with them. So I set out to use, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I remember. There's 3 reasons why I was really excited about these participatory methods. I can't believe I forgot them for a second. The first reason was they tied together all my seemingly disparate past interests and skills. The second reason was because they really helped me to acknowledge and keep sight of the humanity that I shared with my research participants, rather than just seeing them as a source of data. And third, they help to engage communities in dialogue around contentious issues that are often quite difficult to discuss. Oops, no, now I'm not. So for my master's project while at Duke University, I used one of these participatory methods that employed film to work with a fishing village in the Philippines to understand how the community felt about a mangrove restoration and alternative livelihood project that Conservation International had implemented 3 years prior. So I worked together with the community to co-create this research film to understand how individuals, whether they felt that the program had improved their fisheries, whether or not they had received increased protection from storms and other climate-related issues, whether or not it had improved their income, and whether the program had changed the way they perceived their community. So in the spirit of this process, I want to share just a quick clip for you of one of the findings that came from this project. You're going to hear from a fisherman named Renell, who, in a very indirect way, which is appropriate for the cultural context of the Philippines, expresses that had there been an opportunity for him to earn more income, he would have sought it out, and he didn't really feel he had access to this program.
Kung sa gaya kong mahirap, ay hindi na ako magtabiling humingi halimbawa kaunting tulong na yung kung saan ay magpapaibang kita dahil alam ko ako gaya ko mangingisda. Gaya ko ngayon, walang kahuli-huli kahit isa. Paano ang pamilya pag ganun araw-araw? Kaya ang gusto ko kung matutulungan, kung halimbawa matutugunan, mapagbibigyan halimbawa, ay magkameron ng isang kita na pang-araw-araw.
So I selected this clip because though overwhelmingly we found that the community really supported the project and felt that they had benefited from it, there were still individuals like Renell who felt that they'd been excluded from the program. And when I screened the final film to the village for the last time, the barangay counselor, who's similar to the mayor of the city, was really upset by what Renell had said. He felt that he didn't have the right to say these things because Renell hadn't, in his opinion, thought out being engaged and involved in the program. At the same time, he felt sorry that for whatever reason, he didn't feel like he could access those resources. So although this was an uncomfortable exchange, it started a discussion about how to improve the program to widen that circle of benefits. So now that I'm in my PhD program at Stanford, I'm continuing to explore how to use these visual participatory methods to continue to better understand how communities can manage their resources for not only positive ecological outcomes, but positive social outcomes as well. So I think there's something we can learn from this little fishing village in the Philippines, and that is to always remember to keep sight of one another's humanity, even when it's really hard to do so. Even when the person we're engaging with doesn't see the things the way that we do, is really annoying or is just plain wrong. That even then, especially then, we're able to dig down deep and maintain sight of that common humanity. When we're able to do this is when healthy and productive communities are possible. I saw that during my time at the Nicholas School, and I've seen it in communities across the world. So the next time you're extremely frustrated with someone in your community, pause, take a deep breath, and remember to embrace the uncomfortable. I truly believe it's the only way we can move forward together. Thank you.